Okay, tonight's project, hand hewing a beam. Granted, I am definitely cheating by using a beam that has already been sawn. We milled this stuff up earlier, and I'm just going for the look here now of having it hand hewn. So I've been working at this with an axe. I worked at it a bunch last night, and I'm about to jump on it again. Got my collections of axes. I was using my little Wetterlings last night, and not very happy with the shape of the head on it, so I dug up a couple of my old axes, and I'll give it a try with my Holtz Brooks or with the other kind of unnamed one there. So basically the idea is just to chip off the surface, hew off the sawmill sawn surface here, and leave it looking more like it was cut with an axe. So yeah, like I said, definitely cheating, but it gets us a look. Anyway, let's get to work. All right, that's it for tonight. I'm getting tired and hungry, and somebody's waiting for me at home to come have supper. So that's basically got it roughed out there. It's got some neat detail with these wormholes in here. And the beam's a little bit old, so it's got some soft spots in it too, like that. But I think that's all going to turn out really good once we get her all stained up. That's going to show up real nice. So I got a little bit of cleanup to do on this. It's a little bit feathery. I'll have to go through and, I guess, lightly sand it. And then get creative about how to mount it up. It's probably going to involve some steel brackets, and of course I got to do the sides, the returns on each side as well, and marry those up with a mitered joint. So still a fair bit of work, but we're going to pick away at this bit by bit. Okay, we'll catch you later. Yeah, okay, this is like night number 3. I've been working away on these things. Got the second piece here done. That's going to be the 2 sides of the mantle once I split that in half. So a good low angle shot so you can kind of see the edge of that there. That's how it turned out. Pretty happy with that. I got a little bit of cleanup to do on these yet, and then maybe a little bit of sanding just to take the slivers off of there. But otherwise we're basically done and ready for stain. So, well, not quite ready for stain. I guess I've got to figure out how the heck I'm gonna join these together, the mitered joints, and install it on the fireplace so it doesn't fall off. I don't think I'm gonna have a problem with it falling off. It's pretty heavy. I think it'll just set in place there, and between that and getting pinched in with the stone, it should stay in there good. However, I do want the joints to stay somewhat closed, so I'm probably going to weld up some steel just as a bit of a frame and put it in there to hold everything together. I think my plan is going to be to kind of rebate the back a bit here so that it overhangs the tile, so you don't see tile really butted up against it. It'll make it easier for the masons to finish their stuff off there. And it'll give me somewhere to hide the steel bracketry. So that's it for tonight. Time to run home and find some supper before somebody throws it out on me. All right, have a good night. We'll check in with you later. Okay, for the mantle, I have been scratching my head about how to join the pieces together. What I came up with is this. I just finished welding up some bracketry here, just a little bit of angle iron, and my plan is to bolt the pieces to this, screw the pieces to this, I should say, and that'll help the joints stay tighter without having to have any exposed fasteners. And then this just slips right on there, and it should just fit in by friction. Should hold fine there. It's not going anywhere. It's going to be pretty heavy. So I talked with my masons today, and it sounds like they'll be coming up a little later on this week to install the rock on this thing. So that'll look awesome in a hurry here. So the pressure is on to get this completed and installed. So that's that for the mantle project for now. I'll check in with you when I've got a little more done. Okay, working on the mantle here. Got the pieces cut, rough cut anyways. As you can see, the saw cut through there wasn't perfect, so I've got to clean that up right now and get it all squared up perfectly. This one's a little closer, but that'll be a little bit of work to get these trued up here for a nice tight miter joint. So I've got a belt sander and planer, and I'm gonna start attacking these here. So let's get that together, and then the process will be to screw them to that frame that I built. Check in a bit. So trying to measure the angle here with a square gets a little bit awkward, especially when it's rough cut. So I'm using my little level here. Zero that out. So we're on 44.7, 44.8. I can live with that. That's gonna work for me. So that was actually a heck of a lot easier than I thought it was gonna be using the planer here. So on to the next joint. Let's tackle this end. Okay, so I got everything fitted up real nice. So now I'm just recessing the back so there's a little bit of overhang over the rock. So the rock will tuck in behind there. So lots of little cuts, and then bust them out. And then just come in here and clean her up, like so. Anyway, check in later. Okay, so I've successfully created a mess. A lot of chips and sawdust. I got the pieces hogged out here. So that's just that little rabbit on the back there. And the next part will be to install the brackets. Here is one. I think that goes over here. Yes, it does. It's a little tricky one-handed. So those go on like so. And that'll help me bolt the wing on the side here. One of those. So looks like I need a little bit more clearance there. So I'll have to hog out a bit more on the end here. No big deal. Maybe I'll trim the steel down. One of the two. Okay, on to the next. All right, got her all together. Brackets are all installed. Everything's screwed on, joints ended up not too bad. It actually worked really well with all the screws coming in from multiple angles. I was able to adjust things fairly easily to get things reasonably tight on my joints. And I've even left a little bit of room here so that if, down here, so that if things do open up as the wood dries out, I can pop the mantle and tighten up a screw there, and that should do it. I did have to shim one corner here to get my miter nice and tight. The other side ended up real good. That's the top side. That sucker is heavy. And there's the front. So yeah, pretty happy with that. The plan here is to wait for the mason to arrive. Today is actually tomorrow morning. And when he gets here, I'm gonna beg him to give me a hand hauling this thing up and getting it in place because it's super heavy. And my back's a little sore. So we'll do that, let him do his rock work on the fireplace, and then I'll pull this out and finish it up, doing the final sanding and staining and whatnot later. So that is all for right now. Thanks for following along on the project. All right, got her temporarily installed. Waiting for the masons to show up, do their rock work. And once they're done, I'll pull this thing back out. I'll attempt to pull it back out and get her stained up and finished. Looking good so far.